Most of the time I talk about how to invest in crypto on this channel, but truly the way to get rich in crypto is doing this one thing. And it's not a complex thing, but it is difficult in the sense that you simply have to show up and do it. It's difficult in the consistency, but it's not difficult to execute. It's actually pretty simple to execute. So today I'm going to be showing you the one simple trick that truly let me build wealth in crypto. It's the reason why I got rich in this industry in the first place. There's no magic tricks and there's certainly no shortcuts here. It is just a real and simple explanation of ways that you can absolutely crush it in crypto, but most importantly, when you can crush it in crypto. Because throughout my time in this industry, it's been clear that knowing when to do things is way more important than knowing how to do them. So first of all, for those who don't know me, my name's Elliot. I'm sure you probably do at this point. This is a project that I co-founded called Super, and it touched $1 billion val here back in December. And that's the circulating value, not the actual fully diluted, which was in the multiple billions. So having created a $1 billion protocol in crypto, having truly made it, I can tell you that there were a lot of slow parts, a lot of very uncertain parts along the journey. So the first step in really understanding how to truly build wealth in crypto is to build conviction. In order to build conviction, you need to understand how the machine works. And we're not going to go too deep into this. Most people know how this works, but we are in a national debt spiral. That debt spiral will force us to print more money. And in the meantime, we're actually seeing structural legislation for the first time in American history, in the history of crypto, that is actually legalizing certain key aspects of crypto. So understand that as the dollar devalues, as they print more money, as they borrow more to get out of the debt that we're in, that's going to create more liquidity to go into assets. And crypto is said to be the asset class that actually absorbs the most of that. So you need to understand those concepts. There's plenty of videos on that. We're not going to go into that right now. But you need to truly build conviction in the idea that crypto will be the sponge for all of this easy button, fix everything, print money solutions that governments love. Understand crypto is the sponge. It absorbs all that. And so it must grow and grow and grow to fix the size of problems that the economy has. Then you need to understand why this moment is actually asymmetric, in that they are finally legalizing stablecoins with the Genius Act. We'll very soon have a market structure bill, which will allow for anybody to quickly understand which digital assets are securities, which are commodities, which effectively can be freely traded out there. And overall, this is the big kahuna that will effectively legalize DeFi. Now, DeFi has already been given the green light in verbal terms by the current SEC, but we know that this right here is going to be the big gate opener for traditional institutional investors to come into crypto and start buying up DeFi assets. This is what will open the gate. You also now have the Federal Reserve ending the reputational risk oversight, which was a significant barrier for banks to engage with crypto firms, a shift from Gary Gensler and the Elizabeth Warren-driven SEC. So you have all of the laws coming together. You have the economic backdrop of spiraling debt, of out-of-control spending, and understanding that crypto is the trade to express that you believe this will continue. So if you have conviction in those things, you understand that the laws are changing for crypto, you understand that the world is moving to crypto, and you understand that institutions are starting to buy this stuff up. The only question should be, when do you want to act? And now we get to the simple thing that I've done throughout the course of my career in crypto that has really been the difference maker that I've noticed between myself and others that have maybe come into this industry and left without the successful result. It's actually easiest to explain looking at this chart. This is Into the Cryptoverse. So shout out to Ben Cowan's site, Into the Cryptoverse, where he actually aggregates all of YouTube subscribers and views. And you can see on both of these charts, obviously views is a little higher because the community is bigger than it used to be. But subscribers, I think, paints a better picture because it shows new people coming into the industry. And what you see is that the YouTube subscribers, if you go all the way to today, you have about 2,000 new subscribers coming into this industry. And that is pretty much on par with days in 2019. You had days in 2019 where you had, similar numbers of subscribers, certainly in 2020, right? And so you're seeing that the current level of interest in crypto, from as judged by social metrics, is on par with some of these really early times in history. You also see that it's somewhat comparable to this full bear market in 2022 and throughout most of 2023. And then you see the explosion in subscribers as we get into these hot periods, which started here in October of 23. You can see the explosion in Bitcoin price. But an easy way to see this is if you look at the Dogecoin price. You can see that this price is actually almost exactly. You can see the white line here blends in a little bit. You can see that it completely explodes and comes down, and it almost matches the YouTube subscribers exactly. So you can see that altcoins such as Dogecoin, an even better one I think that matches it is AVAX. You can see, obviously ignore this first part of 2021, but once it got its big market cap, AVAX has almost almost exactly matched these, the white line you can see almost exactly matches the new subscribers. So you can see that you kind of have a cheat sheet here by looking at social metrics to know when the altcoin sector is in a bottoming formation, or at least prices are very low. It doesn't mean that they can't go lower temporarily. And this is a visual representation of altcoins in the others chart. You can see here, this is all of the altcoins outside of the top 10. You can see this was the last bear market throughout 2018 and 2019. You see a big dip here, a big collapse during the middle of 2021. You see this massive accumulation zone throughout late 2022 and early 2023. You actually see one in 2024 and now one in 2025. Now it's important to realize understanding when the altcoins are going to move is understanding when the sort of big wealth generation events happen. Bitcoin is your long-term savings account. You want to always have Bitcoin in your account, dominating your account. You want to have things like Coinbase, MicroStrategy. We have our major buckets we talk about all the time that should occupy at least 60% of your portfolio. That being said, these other altcoins are what truly bring in the mania, and they are truly where I've experienced personally the most exponential upside of wealth. And the reason why I've been there is simply being stubborn. And simply during these periods when everyone else is checking out of the industry, when nobody really wants to watch YouTube, when nobody really wants to track the ins and outs of the industry, well, you just stay engaged, you stay following. And that way, when this period inevitably ends, as they have each and every single time, and if you want a visual of how you know that this is going to end, here is the altcoin Bitcoin season index. And what you see here is that this is others divided by Bitcoin price. But effectively, this shows whether it's time to be making money in altcoin or Bitcoin. And as you get to the bottom of the Bitcoin season, with the more extreme, what you'll see here is that that's when altcoins will start to reverse up. And you'll see that it mostly oscillates. It's gone as low in 2018 as pretty much as zero, but it never quite hit that again. And we see that we bottomed the last few summers. We bottomed in May 23, we bottomed in July 24, and it certainly looks like we're making a bottoming formation here in 2025. So again, does this mean that altcoins have to go up from here, that there can't be some kind of setback? No, of course, there can always be fluctuations. But long term, you're in a deep value zone for altcoins, for crypto in general. You're looking at periods of wild uncertainty, while all the macro and all the mid to long-term news and overall conviction in where the space is going is insanely bullish. These are these simple tricks that are not so simple, because your emotions in times like this are telling you to get out, to leave, when in reality, all you have to do is keep digging, keep engaging, keep following the key narratives. And one thing that people don't realize is that there's quite a bit of money in crypto. And if you're struggling to balance crypto with your other job or whatever, understand that there's always a chance that you could get hired within crypto to work full-time here for a project in some capacity. There's tons of roles here, and people are still hiring even when the markets are slow. So understand that getting in and getting ahead while other people are taking their feet off the gas, that's how you truly catch up to the herd and pass people. Just because you're going 100 miles an hour when everybody else is, that does not give you the advantage. You want to get the advantage by slamming the gas as other people are not even racing. They're not even aware there's a race. That's when you truly leapfrog people. That's when you truly cement yourself into the next movement of the market, whether that's just with positioning, whether that's with working in the industry, in my case, building a community, building product, building protocols that then moved with the industry. Those are the magic moments. You don't just come out at the peak of the market and reveal something and everybody piles in. People want teams and projects and things with conviction, and the need to believe in things in crypto driving valuations also happens to be the case. If you don't believe in this industry during the tough times, it's really hard to make outsized gains. So as we see these sort of deep lows in views, these almost zero subscriber months for crypto YouTube as a whole, as you look at the others chart and see how there are very significant lows being put in here, you can see that we're testing the bottom end of the range from the last bull run. And again, Bitcoin is way higher than it was there, right? As you're building conviction in the overall picture of crypto as getting legalized, as having a truly strong institutional bid, finding product market fit, getting actual green light from legislation that's needed for these big investors to come in with their absolutely monstrous treasuries and start buying the coins online, that still hasn't even happened yet. So seeing social signals so ice cold is actually one of the most insanely bullish things that you could imagine. And that will allow you, for whoever is still here, to leapfrog the competition. Because it's not enough to show up and keep working, but you have to show up and keep working when other people are not. It's the single easiest trick to get ahead in crypto. And in my opinion, getting ahead in crypto, I wouldn't be doing these videos if I didn't think it was effectively everyone's best bet to just in general get ahead financially. Obviously, you've got to pay the bills, you've got to make your bread and butter. There's a whole spectrum of risk, but being not allocated to crypto to me is a monstrous error, and not allocating your time and energy during the times that are slow is one of the biggest mistakes if you're looking to outpace people. If you're already rich and you're just trying to allocate to Bitcoin, maybe some key winners, long-term grow your portfolio, that's fine. But if you want to truly leapfrog people ahead of you in the social hierarchy, in the world of spending, in the world of assets, which I believe is the vast majority of this audience, then you need to be working super hard during these downtimes and understanding that this is actually the best time to be involved when things are ice cold, but the backdrop is really, really good. That's what you want. And that, my friends, is where we are right now. Super actionable. As always, we're going to be coming out with altcoin specific videos where I'll be giving you my tips, but I think there couldn't be a better time to be accumulating massive DeFi behemoths, things like Aave, Maker, Sky, Pendle, Syrup. We've named a bunch of them. Obviously, we have a project coming out within the Superverse called Black Hole. We will have a huge amount of information leading up to that launch, which is imminent. But in general, in my opinion, this is a key time for DeFi, because once these regulations get passed, I think those tokens and those protocols will expand dramatically. And I personally don't want to be chasing that. I want to be front running that. Now, another thing I've been doing, and again, this is actually much harder to do, but it's something I've become quite addicted to over the past several months, is actually trading. I think trading gives me a sharper edge on which direction the market's going to go short term, and that helps me manage my holdings even better. Having a trader's mentality with a long-term investor's outlook, I think, is the killer combination. And so I've been getting reached out to by exchanges for a very long time, but I've decided to partner with this one because they are actually the most trusted non-KYC exchange, where effectively a lot of the traders in the industry that I trust are also partnered with this exchange, and they are running this massive $4.2 million giveaway. It's Blowfin. Now, I'm going to be honest, most people should not trade. It's way too hard for most people to do, but I know there's several people in my audience who are traders. And what I want to do with this community is build a small private group of really high quality traders. So if you want to be a part of that, please go ahead and sign up to Blowfin with my link. It's a no KYC exchange. So even if you have an account there, you can sign up again with a different email and trade on that account. We're going to be ranking the top traders within my group, and I'm going to be offering access to this group to those top traders. There will also be all kinds of prizes. We're going to be running continual kind of competitions here because I want to meet the best traders that are in this group, in my audience, and hopefully put together a super high signal, very small and very intimate group for the best traders. This is not a paid group that I want a bunch of people in, a bunch of noise where we're trying to serve people trading ideas. This is going to be a small group designed to be essentially a mastermind of the best traders in the industry, or the best traders that we can get our hands on in this community. And again, I love to trade, so I'll be hanging out in this group a lot. Again, as always, centralized exchanges can be risky. We've seen things collapse like FTX. So always understand that there is a risk when you put funds on a centralized exchange, and that you should never have too much money on any kind of centralized exchange. That being said, Blowfin's been working well for quite some time, has a great reputation, and is trusted by many top traders. So go ahead and join with my link. There's this massive competition here, but I'm also going to be adding some super token as reward for the top trader in my group on the next wave of competition. So after this commences, I'm going to be giving out some of my founders super to top traders. Again, I want to build the most stacked group of really top tier traders, and I believe it'll translate massively over to me making even better content here on the channel. So shout out to Blowfin. Thank you to them for sponsoring this episode. And if you fancy yourself a good trader, go ahead and join that link and let's put up some numbers. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click on this one popping up right now, as I know you'll love it, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.